Hello folks, how are you? My name is Nuala Gordon. I feel like I should be at Electric Picnic with this microphone here, not here at the ploughing. But we were at EP, we'd probably have alcohol, but today we're going to have non-alcoholic cocktails. I'm a lecturer in SETU in the Department of Culinary Arts, Hospitality and Tourism. And part of the courses there, we look at cocktails, and I'm also heavily involved in the Irish wine scene. We were just out on Monday of this week bringing in this year's grape harvest in Waterford. So we do lots of things in the department. Today, however, we're going to be looking at cocktails from foraged berries and the health benefits of that. So the berries we're going to start with are nettles. They're not berries, they're nettles. Now, I don't have any nettles today because when we're making cocktails or anything like that with nettles, the best nettles to use are spring nettles because they're fresher and they've got a lot more vitamins and that kind of thing in them. So why nettles? Well, why interest in this started? Because when I was younger, my mother used to line us all up before we went out to school, and she would give us she would boil nettles and she would give us a big spoonful of it. And we were all terrified that it was going to sting. But of course, once you boil it, the sting is gone. So the first one, I'm using Wild. They're Wild brand. They're made in Wexford, sunny southeast, SETU, sunny southeast. Everything we have today is coming from the sunny southeast. So made in Wexford. And the reason I didn't make it today is because, as I said, spring nettles are the best. What's so good about it? A big dose of vitamin K. Can I just get you to start pouring these for me? With this one, I'm giving you the syrup, and all I've done is add sparkling water to it, okay? It's got iron, calcium, magnesium. Any of you ladies who are suffering from lack of sleep, magnesium is really good. Iron. Teenagers can struggle a little bit with iron and vitamin D. They're all in nettles. You don't have to have them in your syrup like I have here. You could buy the syrup and put it on top of your porridge in the morning. You could put it on your yogurt, any of those kind of things. And the big one with nettles is vitamin K. Vitamin K. What does vitamin K do? Vitamin K helps with bone structure. It helps us build vitamin K bone structure. And it also helps, it works with calcium to help build your bones. And the big one, particularly for younger kids coming into the winter, is iron. Iron, okay? A lot of us struggle with iron because there's a lot less of that in our foods at the moment. So you could start in spring and make the first of yours. Do we like it? All it is, the syrup and sparkling water. What could you do with it if you wanted to put it in something that you like? If you drink gin, for example, very popular. Any gin drinkers in the house? Vodka drinkers? Gin? If I was drinking it and I was going to put alcohol in it, I put this, my gin, and a big massive slice of lemon, and a tiny dash if you're a tonic drinker. Once again, from the sunny southeast, I'm a big fan of Poacher's Tonic made in Wexford. And Poacher's Tonic, this one here is their citrus, and it's got a little hint of rosemary in it. So fantastic combination if you were going to put alcohol in it. And I shouldn't be doing this, but again, from the sunny southeast, we like Blackwater gin. I'll come back to them in a minute. You could add that together with it as well. It's beautiful together. Okay, so do we like the nettles? Good. We're going to move on and we're going to go to elderberries. Okay, so these are elderberries. You can see them up here on the table. And I've also got some in the box here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send the box around, and if you want to try them. Now, these are all on the, they're all on the bushes at the minute. Okay, so elderberries, famous for, comes from the plant Sambucus. Some of you might use Sambucol in the wintertime. Is that something that you're familiar with? If you go to the chemist, you'll see a bottle of medicine called Sambucol, and it's advertised as immune support, and it's elderberry cordial. That's exactly what's in it. You don't need to do that. You can make your own. With cordials, how do you make your own? With all the berry ones that we have here today, what you're going to do is you're going to take your elderberries, usually get a fork, scrape them off the branches, put them into the pot, boil them for about 45 minutes. At this stage, if you want to add some spices, you could add, you don't have to, but you could add cinnamon, ginger, those kind of lovely Christmas spices. And what you can do is you can add those into that stage, boil them for between 25 and 45 minutes. Squeeze the elderberries and run them through either a J cloth or muslin cloth till you get all that lovely colour and flavour out of them. And then pour that into a jug and measure how much liquid you have. The same amount of liquid you have, add the same amount of sugar. Put it back into the pot and melt, and you'll get lovely syrup. Okay? Elderberries. 2 things I'm going to do. I love spritzes. So in the summertime, we were mad for Aperol spritz, limoncello spritz. Things have got a little bit colder now, so we're going to do an elderberry spritz. So what I'm going to do is I've got one of these lovely big fishbowl glasses. I'm going to put a bit of ice in here. And do you know the rule for any kind of spritz? 3, 2, 1. No? Okay, so it's 3 fingers, 2 fingers, 1 finger. What you're going to do is you're going to put your hand on the bottom of the glass. 1, 2, 3. See where my fingers are? 3 fingers. We're going to do 3 fingers worth of, I'm using a non-alcoholic wine, not made in the sunny southeast. So 3 fingers of Prosecco. You could use Prosecco, non-alcoholic wine. Then I want 2 fingers. So putting your 2 fingers where the Prosecco or the sparkling wine stopped, we're going to add our elderberries. So 2 fingers of elderberries. And 1 finger. And the last finger is for a little dash of soda. Just going to add a little bit more ice. And like everything that comes in a spritz glass, I like to have a little bit of a garnish of the berry itself, okay? So you can see here that I'm just going to use the berries, and I'm going to put the berries and all sitting in it. Okay, so you know that that's what we're making it. And then I'm going to put 2 little straws in it like that. And that is your elderberry spritz. Okay? What is elderberries good for you for? They're really good for digestion. So if you got a bottle of wine that you didn't like, white wine or red wine, or you got a bottle of Prosecco and you didn't really particularly like it, what you can do is you can make a cure. So cure is when we add usually black currant to it. But today we are going to add some elderberry to it. So the elderberry, with cure, usually it's black currant and sparkling. It's called a cure royale. And it's a cure when you're going to use still white wine. So all we're going to use the tiniest bit. And all we're going to do is turn it round the glass. All I'm going to do is bring it all the way up the glass. Going to let the residue come off sitting there. And then I'm going to put my sparkling wine in. And all it does is, particularly, it adds a lovely little bit of flavour to your wine, still or sparkling. And it also makes it pink. And girls love everything that are pink. Pink gin, pink Prosecco, all of these lovely kind of things. So that's our second elderberry. Now, once again, although we're doing non-alcoholic today, you could use alcoholic for this as well. I mentioned the gin earlier on. Blackwater made down in Waterford. Okay. You could also add, if you're a gin drinker, your poachers and your little bit of elderberry and put it in as well. So even if you're having a little drop of alcohol, you can make yourself feel really good that there's great health benefits to it as well. Okay? So elderberries, really good for the immune system, really good for vitamin C. There's actually more vitamin C in elderberries than there is in oranges. They're full of antioxidants. Antioxidants, they push all those kind of negative radicals out of your body. Things like all the things that build up and block your kidneys and your arteries, your kidneys and your liver. And what it does is it pushes that out and detoxes your system. There's also, they're also very good for arthritis. There's vitamin K in this as well, which is also good for arthritis, psoriasis, and particularly for teenagers, skin problems. So I'm not saying now that one little bottle of it is going to cure your skin problems. If I had that, I wouldn't be working in SETU. I'd be down had I have some skin cream made with this. But it's really, really good. And particularly coming into the winter where our food lacks a lot of those vitamins, it's really, 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 really good for you to have a go at. Okay? I'm happy enough for you to come up and taste one of these if you want at the end. I don't have any to show you today, but I am going to go with the third one, which is hawthorns. The hawthorn one I have is made from the hawthorns. So on the table here we have, these are what they look like, the elderberries look like on the bushes. This is what your hawthorns look like. There's a woman sitting up here today and she told me that when they were kids they were told that the hawthorn berries were poisonous and not to eat them. Hawthorn berries are really good for you. Massive amounts of vitamin C, antioxidants, calcium. What else is in calcium, and it's got flavonoids. So flavonoids are those things that help build bones, calcium, magnesium, and iron, but not as much as what was in the nettles. So with the hawthorn berry, it's really, really good. I love it. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a nice cocktail glass. We're going to put some ice in it to chill it down. Inside in our shaker then, we're going to put some more ice. I forgot my tongs, so I'm struggling with a spoon here. So I've nothing else in it, only ice. Into that I'm going to put some hawthorn syrup, 1 full measure. So a measure being about 35 mils, standard pub measure. I'm also going to put in some Irish apple juice. The apple juice comes from Contrast Farm, so the apple farm in Clonmel. Any Tipperary people in the house? No? If you've never been over to Contrast's farm, it's a really lovely day out for families. You can pick strawberries. The strawberries weren't like what we had years ago when you used to be crawling on your hands and knees. The drills are all hired up so you can pick them at your waist height. It's really, really good. Apple juice, he does some syrups, really, really lovely things. Because we are SETU, I'm going to use a science beaker, and I'm going to put 75 cls inside of Con's lovely apple juice. Because we're coming into the winter and apples are going to be very plentiful, I'm sure they're all falling off your trees at the moment. I'm also going to use a little bit of cinnamon syrup, because apples and cinnamon go really, really well together. Only a small amount. This is a cocktail spoon, and on the front of the cocktail spoon is worth 5 ml. So anything you've got in here that you're going to put on the spoon is roughly about 5 ml. So all I have in there is 5 ml of cinnamon syrup, 75 ml of apple juice, and I have a standard measure of my syrup, my hawthorn berry syrup. Going to put it in here. Going to give it a lovely little shake. Now you might say to me, I don't have a cocktail shaker. Oh, I can't drink that because I don't have a cocktail shaker. You too can have a cocktail shaker. Some of the ones you get, particularly around Christmas time in Aldi and Lidl's and things like that, they always have a set. Somebody gave me a present of a lovely glass one there recently, and they bought it in Avoca. I think it was about 20 euros in Avoca. But the ones that come into Aldi also have a little kit in them and a little booklet for the recipes as well. So really, really nice. Nice Christmas gift to yourself. I'm going to get rid of the ice out of the glass because nobody likes a warm glass. Going to use a little strainer, put it over the top. And then, because apples go really well with ginger, I'm also going to use poacher's ginger. Poachers made in, they are. And I couldn't have anything. Why would you buy tonic water from England or tonic water from Dublin when we provide all our own here in the sunny southeast? Now, I'm just going to top this off with a little bit of ginger. So you've all lovely, very wintry, very warming things in there. And that's, yep. That's, sorry, beg pardon, rose hip, yeah, beg your pardon. Did you like them? Yeah. This one is a little bit warmer in terms of, it's just a little bit more heat in it from the cinnamon syrup. And not too, I hope it's not too sweet. Like it? For which one? The rose hips? Both of them. So rose hips and elderberries, what you're going to do is you're going to get the berries. So pick the berries, put in as much as you have into the pot. The trick with the rose hips is when you open the rose hips, there's pips inside it. Okay? So they're quite hard when you pick them. And what you want is put them into the pot, boil them for about 10 minutes, cover them with just enough water, like don't fill the pot, just barely cover them with water. Let them boil for about 10 minutes, then get your potato masher and start mashing them. And what you want to do is you want to break up the berries so that you're going to release the flavour from the pips inside, okay? You're also going to release vitamin C, vitamin K, calcium, magnesium, all of those different flavonoids that are inside in the berries. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take the berries and the liquid out. Normally they say use muslin, but if you don't have muslin, get a J cloth, get a tea towel, and put all the berries and the liquid through the tea towel and give it a good squeeze. Just turn it, keep turning it till all that lovely good stuff comes out. Then what you're going to do is you're going to put it back in the pot, liquid and all, back in the pot and boil it again for another 45 minutes. Put the hips and all back in, yeah, everything back in the pot for 45 minutes. Because the hips at this time of the year, depending whereabouts in the country you're from, like these ones are from a little bit further north. And I have ones here, big juicy ones, which I can't find. There you are. So sometimes you can see the difference. So this one is really, really sweet. You can eat them. So the whole idea is when you want to eat it, use your 4 fingers and squeeze it. It comes out like a spot. I'm sorry for being so disgusting. But that's the way it comes out, and you eat away. So they came from the sunny southeast, and you can see the difference in the sizes. Whereas if you're picking these, they'll still make really good syrup, but they're just a little bit harder. So the harder they are, you have to boil them for a little bit longer. You're going to have to boil them for about an hour in total. Once for 20 minutes to soften them up. Get your potato masher, mash them up. Put the liquid and the hips back in the pot, boil them again for 45 minutes. By that stage, they should be lovely and soft. Back in the muslin, give it a good squeeze, like I mean squeeze it till you get everything out. Like a tourniquet, really, really good. And then what you're going to do then is all the liquid comes out that you have out, put it in a jug, measure it in a jug. So let's say, for example, you have a pint of liquid. Take your liquid out, put it back in the pot, no hips. And then measure the same amount of sugar again. So a pint of sugar, equal measures of sugar and liquid. And put the sugar back in the pot and mix. It depends how thick you want it to be. If you use jam sugar, has pectin in it, so it'll kind of set it and it'll make your syrup a little bit thicker. So I don't use it, I just use regular white sugar. If you wanted to make it a warmer flavour of it and you use brown sugar, you can use some of the nice golden castor sugar, and it gives just a little bit more bit of depth to it, I think. But any kind of sugar will do if you just want the syrup, okay? But instead, if you want, you can also add at this stage, if you wanted, you could add lemon to it, so you can do rosehip and lemon. Coming into the winter, people very fond of ginger, turmeric, all of those kind of good things when you see them in the supermarkets for your shots. You can add that into it. Now the turmeric is the only thing, it changes the colour of it. You wouldn't get it as clear, it'll change the colour. But you can add lemon in, which is also quite nice. The other thing you can do with it, some of you may already take cider vinegar, apple cider vinegar. I don't know if you take that in the morning. Sometimes it can be a bit rough to take, you know, but also equally good for you. And you can add your little drop of syrup to it as well when you're doing, and do both of them together. And it makes the apple cider vinegar a little bit easier to take, okay? And I said, once you have it in, I have no preservatives in any of the cordials, none. I've no preservatives in it at all. So it'll last with sugar. Sugar itself is a natural preservative, a bit like salt as well, preserves things. And you would keep it a year if you wanted. It will easily last a year, no problem, and even beyond that. So it depends on how much of it you're making. But usually you wouldn't make much for beyond a year because you'll use next year's rose hips or hawthorn berries. You'll use them again. Does that make sense? All of them, yeah. The only thing is with the with these ones, with the elderberries, to get them off, the easiest thing to do is get a fork and put the fork on it, and they'll fall off with the fork, because otherwise you're sitting picking each individual berry off. You're going to stray in the head, right? And the rest of them, all the same. Equal amounts of sugar and liquid. Does that make sense? Yeah? And again, with the elderberries, you can add cinnamon, you can add ginger. Not so much the turmeric, I wouldn't kind of go, unless you're mad for it. Cinnamon and the ginger is lovely in here, or mixed spice is lovely as well. The next one I'm going to do is, so we've done nettles, elderberry, rose hips, and I'm going to do hawthorn. So I'm going to keep it nice and simple. This is for the gin drinkers. So normally if you drink gin, you would have a gin and tonic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of ice in your glass. I'm going to put a little bit of lemon juice in. You can buy the tins of lemon, but fresh is best, I always think. Again, I only want about 5 mils. I've shorted my half a lemon. So from half a lemon, I should get about 25 mils of lemon juice. But I only want about 5, so I made it a very small. Into that then I'm going to add my syrup. Sorry, wrong bottle. Again, I'm going to keep everything in the same measures. So one straight, similar 30 ml measure, pub measure. The whole idea why I'm adding the lemon juice is because cocktails are about balance, and the syrups can be quite sweet. So I'm just adding a little bit of acidity so that we can balance it, not too much, because I'm also adding Poacher's tonic water, and it's also got a little bit of citrus in it as well. So I'm just going to put a tiny little bit of that in, and then I'm going to get my spoon and give it a nice stir. This is the point now where if you were gin drinkers, you could add your gin as well. But it's lovely coming into Christmas. Any of these are lovely coming into Christmas. Just going to get a little bit of slice of lemon. I apologize, I forgot my tongs. And that's your third one. So we have elderberry, nettles, that was just the original one with some sparkling water, your wild rose hip, and your hawthorn berry. I'll have them up online on SETU's website. You'll notice also that I have some pre-made bottles. I work with a company called Irish Foragers. They're based over in Offaly, not too far away from here. They're actually here at the Ploughing today for the last couple of days. And they sell these bottles. These are their bottles. And everything is made on site, all made from locally farmed berries on their farm. And these bottles go at $7.50 each. You can buy them online. And they do quite a bit of apple cider vinegar with flavours in it. They do dandelions, they do dandelion syrup. So when all of those flavours are in, and berries are in season, because we can't scale up, because as a forager, you can only pick what's out there. If once you start to grow them, I suppose commercially, then it's not foraged anymore. And you're starting to force something that's not there. And things grow in the world for a different reason. Like dandelion grows in springtime. As I said, spring nettles. Like, I mean, you could go out there and you could pick nettles today. I'm sure a couple of you have been stung by them. But the ones this time of the year, they're just a bit rough. The spring ones are the better ones to get because they're just very fresh and a lot more full of vitamins. Elderberries. Oh my God, I passed it when I was coming up this morning. There's oceans of it on the side of the road, absolutely oceans of it. If you didn't want to make spritz like this, you could use your syrup and put gin in it, and put your berries and your gin in it, and you'd have elderberry gin for Christmas. So put your gin in, or your vodka, put your elderberries in, some sugar, and shake it. Leave it in it for about 2 days, and what you're going to get is a beautiful elderberry liqueur. It's amazing for Christmas, okay? Elderberry is also really good for digestion. So whether you're going to have it in your spritz or whether you're going to have it in your cure, really good for Christmas when we tend to overindulge a little bit. Really good for you. Also packed with antioxidants. This plant is native to Europe and North America, and it's actually called the Sambucus plant. And if you go into your chemist, you will see a product called Sambucol in the chemist, and it's an anti-immune liquid designed to give them all those vitamins going through the winter, which we lack. Iron, vitamin D, vitamin C, vitamin K, all in the elderberries. Rose hips. Rose hips are what's left after the flowers fall away. People used to think it was the wasted part of the rose. A lot of people just look at them. We've got very bad in Ireland. When I was a kid, we used to pick blackberries. A lot of them are left on the road now. And you're kind of, why aren't people picking blackberries anymore? They buy blackberries, but they don't pick them. So your job today, folks, is to go out and start picking blackberries, elderberries, hawthorn berries, and start making some. Pick one and decide that you're going to make a syrup or a drink with it. It's absolutely amazing. And when people come around your house at Christmas time, they'll be going, oh my God, what's that? And if you really don't want to make it, you can always buy it from Irish Foragers. They've done the work for you. So it's really something nice when when somebody comes around, you'd be sick. People like things that are different. And elderberry definitely is different. The other two are a little bit lighter in flavour. So the rose hip and the hawthorn. Rose hip is quite light, and it works quite well with the ginger and the apple juice. But sometimes you can't overpower it, otherwise all you'll taste is everything else and not it. Okay, so it's probably the gentlest of the two. And the hawthorn berry has got a little bit of a kind of catches you a little bit maybe in the back of your throat. And that's anthocyanins. And that catching, one of those things is tannin. So anthocyanins are all those good things that are in red wine. So when they say to you, if you have a glass of red wine, it's really good for you because it's got all these lovely things in it. So you really feel good when you sit down and you have your glass of red wine. You think, I'm doing myself the power of good here. You are, because it's got anthocyanins, polyphenols, which is smells. And the anthocyanins are things that it's a combination of your vitamin D, your vitamin D, vitamin K, vitamin C, your magnesium, ladies. Love it. I bet you're throwing it into you, 4 a day, and you get it with calcium. Ladies of a certain age are told that we have to take magnesium So I say to you, take your magnesium not in tablet form, but take it in syrup form. Helps you sleep at night, help build your bones, and keeps you calm in an otherwise terrible world. Any questions, folks? No? So your job when you go home is to pick one berry and make a syrup out of it and have it ready for Christmas and put it in a drink. As I said, probably this one here is the easiest one to do. This one is your sparkling wine. Here's your sparkling wine. It takes the taste off it. If you got a bottle of wine that you don't like, still or sparkling, put a little bit of that in it. Traditionally, you'd see it with blackcurrant. And this one is your spritz. So instead of having your Aperol spritz and your limoncello spritz, we're moving into winter spritz. A little bit warmer with that. And I've put a little bit of elderberries sitting in the top of that. Is it? Dog rose? No, all wild. All wild. You'll see them out there at the moment. Like, people think roses are kind of, lovely flowers and all of this. And these are the ones they're hard. They won't turn, they'll never turn. It's like the waste from flowers. And people, they just let it die. It just comes into our hedgerows and then it all falls away. But yet, we do nothing with it. We're all gone mad planting wild flowers, which are lovely, but they don't do anything for you. That's right. And why? Vitamin C. During the war, they used to make rosehip syrup. World War II, the British used to give it to kids because they didn't have fruit. So they used to make this, and they would also give it to soldiers that were wounded because of the healing properties. I'm not saying it made them get up and march, but if when they were sick, they used to give them this because it has 20% more vitamin C in rosehips than there is in oranges. And of course, oranges you were never going to get.
When I was a child, I don't know if it's a myth or what, but I remember they used to open them, get all the pips out, and they used it as itching powder.
Itching powder. Yeah, it is. It makes itching powder. We used to get the pips out and used to take the inkwell out of your pen, and we used to use them as pea shooters. All the pips, you'd have the mouth full of pips, and you'd be using them as pea shooters. Shouldn't be saying that. Not at all, you're very welcome. If there's anything you'd like to come up and try, come on ahead.